Yesterday was Friday the 29th, and I had my consultation with the surgeon for my hysterectomy. So she's just a local gynecologist who a friend of mine had his hysterectomy with probably over a year and a half ago now. Um, and I asked him who he had his surgery with, and he recommended this surgeon. He said that the clinic is extremely trans friendly, and he said it was the best surgery experience he's had thus far. Um, he said that everyone took really good care of him. He got his own hospital room, so that he wasn't put with a female, or like having to share a room with anyone. And so he just said it was a really good experience, and he absolutely recommended this surgeon. So I called the I got a referral to see this gynecologist last May, and they called me back and told me that there were no appointments in 2015 available. So that was really disappointing because that was a like 7 month wait or something. And it was up in the air. They said we'll call you early 2016 to let you know when your appointment is. And so I was really disappointed because I was hoping to have my hysterectomy done by the end of last year. And so anyway, I got a call on my birthday in October saying that my appointment was for the 25th of January. And then they called a week ago and said that she was going to be in surgery on that day, so we had to move it to Friday, which was no big deal. 5 more days wasn't a big deal. So anyway, yesterday was my appointment, and so it was for 11:20 a.m. I got there at 11 because I figured I'd be filling out forms, which I was, and so I had to fill out a ton of forms because obviously I'd never been there before. So because it's a gynecologist's office, the forms were directed at women. Now there was a section like asking if you were trans and that's why you were there, and I just clicked that one or like checked that box, and it was mostly open ended, like what's your expectation of this appointment, and I put expecting to have a hysterectomy, full hysterectomy, ovarectomy, and then obviously contact information and everything, and family history with anything, if you and whatever surgeries you've had before, which I obviously put down top surgery, and um, yeah, so the forms were straightforward and everything, and everyone was lovely. Like I walked in and I was worried, just because it's a place for women. Like I was worried. I was told the staff is fantastic, which they are, but I was just worried about like there being a room full of women in the waiting room, which it wasn't. It was just there was like two husbands and some kids, um, and nobody looked at me weird as far as I could tell. And I just walked in, and the secretary was lovely, and the lady who took me over and took my weight and asked me some questions and everything was lovely as well. And then the actual doctor was fantastic. So anyway, I filled out the forms in the waiting room, and then they took me to a little other waiting area kind of thing where this lady asked me my height, took my weight, took my blood pressure, and asked me some questions about um, just medical history and things. And um, she said like, "Oh, you're on testosterone, so no periods." And I said, "Oh no, I still get I'm still getting my menstrual cycle regularly." And I've been on T for 2 years now, and or almost 2 years. And she said, "Oh, like that's." And then she asked me how often it comes, um, uh, and everything, and how heavy it is, and things like that. And she's like, "Okay, well, um, yeah, you can talk to the doctor about that, or we'll just keep that in mind." But obviously, this surgery will get rid of that. Um, and so she was sympathetic though, like she wasn't, which was I was surprised about, like that she was knowledgeable. Like she said, "Oh, you that probably really bugs you, and you probably really want to get rid of that, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, like it's time to go." And so I think that was it for her. And then she put me in a room to wait for the doctor, and I was in there for all of like 5 minutes waiting. She said, I'm not sure if she's going to want to check you out, but if she does, then she'll just leave the room and you just have to take everything off from the waist down, and then she'll look at whatever she wants to look at. Um, that was the only thing I was nervous about, was like I wasn't sure if I was going to have to get some sort of physical examination, and I didn't, thankfully. So anyway, the doctor came in and sat down, and she, was like, okay, so you're 19 and you're looking to have a hysterectomy. She asked me a little bit about my transition, like who I had surgery with. I said Dr. McLean, and she said, oh man, I have so many patients who go to him. She's like, I've never met him in person, but I really want to. Yeah, she said that she's had so many trans patients that have gone to him for their surgery, and she said we've corresponded a little bit over like email or fax or whatever. Yeah, but she's never met him in person, and she said he sounds like a pretty incredible surgeon. I said, yeah, he did a really good job, and so and then she asked a bit about that surgery, how that went, like how I reacted to the whole experience of it, just physically, how my body was capable of handling it, and just how the scarring is looking and everything like that. She didn't look at it, but she asked me, and just to get a feel of how my first surgery experience went, and then she said, she asked me if I had any questions and if I had done any research on hysterectomies at all, and I said I had, and I asked her if it was possible that I could get mine done like externally, because there are two ways that you can do it. You can do it where you do the incision in the abdomen and you pull the uterus and the ovaries out that way, or you can make a few incisions on the outside and like cut everything apart, and then you pull it out. I'm about to use a word that maybe people won't want me to use, but I'm going to use it so that people understand. So you make incisions in the abdomen so that you can pull everything out of the vagina. And I had done research on that, and I was really scared of that because I have never had penetrative sex. So my canal, and this is what the doctor told me, and I said, yeah, that's why I didn't want to go this way, but that my canal is really narrow because it has never been stretched, it's never been widened, meaning that there is a possibility that they will have to cut it wider in order to pull everything out, because it might be too narrow to pull all of the uterus and the ovaries out through it. But she said that she doesn't like to do the version where you make the incision in the abdomen because it is a very large incision, she said, and she likes to make it, especially for trans men, minimal scarring on the outside, because that's it aesthetically, like it would be better to not have a lot of scars. I already have 2 giant scars, and I'm going to have a couple incisions, but not a giant scar in my abdomen. So she said that the way that they do it is they do pull it out the vagina, and she did say that there is a very large chance they're going to have to cut the hole to be bigger to be able to pull it out. But she said either way, you're going to have you're going to have incisions inside of you anyway, because there has to be a cut between where the uterus connects to the vagina needs to be severed. So you're going to have things being cut in there anyway, so there's going to be pain there anyway, and it's not going to add that much more of a hassle having another incision in there. And she said it's easier, it's cleaner, it looks better aesthetically afterward. You still have to watch that area anyway for any sort of bacteria or anything, infections, because of all the cuts that are going to be there anyway. And yeah, so that is the procedure I'm getting. It will be pulled out of me as opposed to like from an incision. So I'll have an incision in my belly button where the camera goes in, and I'll have 2 on either side of my abdomen, 2 little circles where they're going to put the instruments in to start cutting from the outside, and then they have to go in and up and pull out. So yeah, it's a day surgery, thankfully, It is done at one of the local hospitals in my city, thank God. And so it's a day surgery, so I'm going to be at the hospital for 6:30 in the morning, and then I have to surgery's at 9:30 a.m. and then I will be just discharged that day. They said as long as nothing goes wrong, everything goes smoothly, I can go home that day and it'll be fine. Thankfully, I don't want to spend a night at the hospital, and I all I have to do is make an appointment with the hospital for. I have to call them, and they're going to tell me when my appointment is going to be. Where I have to go in for a few hours one day, sometime before surgery. They said it could be a few days before surgery, a few weeks before surgery. They don't know. I just have to call, and they'll tell me when my appointment is. And I'm going to have to talk to the anesthesiologist and fill out a lot of paperwork and do a ton of crap. And I'll make an update video after I have that appointment. But yeah, so that is all I have to do. That, and I have to do blood work 2 to 5 days before surgery. But I don't have to get an ultrasound or anything, which was surprising because I've seen a lot of people had to get ultrasounds first. The other thing she said is with trans people, there's a little bit of a higher risk of finding things in there you weren't expecting. So she said that there is a chance that they may have to make extra incisions in certain places and everything, and that's just the way it goes. If they find something that they weren't expecting, they might have to do extra things to try and complete the surgery successfully, basically. And she just said that with taking testosterone and stuff, and the fact that like we don't get checked out necessarily as often as we should, there tends to be a chance that you can find things in there like that are I don't know the word, like I don't know, just things that have gone wrong in there that you can't necessarily tell from the outside. And yeah, but she said that chance is very low, and it happens rarely, but there is a little bit of a higher chance for trans men to have something go wrong. But she said I'm young, I'm healthy, and I'm slim, which all work in my favor, and she said this should go really smoothly. And yeah, and then we picked a date. I don't even know if I said that yet, but we picked a date. And so April 5th, I'm having my hysterectomy, which is crazy to think about. That's 2 months away, and I am quite excited. Very nervous, but really, really thankful to get this over with, and I'm so glad it's before summer. I'll be healed. It's a 6 week healing time, so no lifting, no nothing for 6 weeks, which means I can go swimming this summer because I will be healed before June. Yeah, I'm really, really excited. This worked out so well, and yeah, I just feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, I have a post-op appointment with the doctor back at the clinic. So my appointment yesterday was at the clinic, which is across the street from the hospital, and then like her doctor's office is, and then I'm having surgery at the hospital, and then 6 weeks later, on May 16th, I go back to her clinic for a post-op appointment with her. Yeah, so I'll get a lot more information at the hospital when I go for the pre-op appointment. And yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is a really long video. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, video topics, anything like that, let me know. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I know that there are quite a few guys that live in my area that watch my videos. And if you're wondering what this doctor's name is, message me privately and I'll send you her name. And yeah, so thanks for watching. See ya.